Oh, hi there. Today I'm going to talk about my understanding of modern day Freemasons. I'm certainly not going to talk about, King Solomon's Temple in 967 BC, because they're not the same group of guys. I mean, Freemasons is the term I'm using, but I don't really know what they call themselves. Basically, they're people who stand in high places. You don't know what they know, or what capabilities they have, or what friends they have and what enemies they have, because they all have friends and enemies. They work in groups within the government, and there's different branches of them. There most certainly is a branch that extends into YouTube video creators' content. No doubt, and towards mine, because I brought up some controversial subjects, and I will continue to do so. I don't think I'll ever attain real status, but I feel as though I deserve to be a Freemason. I deserve the opportunity to join these secret societies within YouTube and learn more about the world, learn more about politics, and just generally what's going on. I mean, I'm ignorant. I don't have a lot of friends. I don't have the know-how. I'm not the only one. Most people who go on YouTube are confused. They're adolescents. YouTube is relatively new, and it's still just an experiment for young people. You get old people on there too, mostly listening to old songs or watching car videos or cat videos or whatever. But all this is controlled by none other than the Freemasons, or what my belief of them is. And there's no doubt about it that they will have taken control of YouTube, Facebook, every media outlet available. They can't have information they don't want spreading going unchecked by their minions. It's probably a better word for it, but you know what, I'm going to call them minions because that is what they are. They're just little creatures who work for them. I'm going to get into some conspiracy theories that I believe in the upcoming videos I'm going to make, because I believe all the monsters that are in the movies, in the comics, are really just based on people. They're caricatures of people. And that's what my opinion of a Freemason is it's just a caricature of a mysterious being. Now, someone like David Icke would say that, Freemasons are going to be like morphing reptiles or something. Obviously, that's not true, although their personalities probably aren't too far off from reptilian. Cold-blooded, mean, vicious. They're probably like Watto from Star Wars. You know, cold-blooded, make you work, slave you, cut your throat if it would make them $1. Who knows? They're probably slimy, despicable people. Anyway, modern day Freemasons, they hold high positions within the police force, military, the propaganda unit, and there is a propaganda unit. I mean, you're not going to get posters of Mao Zedong hanged up on the walls unless you go to Jason Unruh's channel, but he's a douchebag, so I wouldn't pay much attention to him. Well, a little bit. I mean, he says some things, but I watch his videos. I just don't ever agree with him on anything. But he talks in a way, like kind of like kind of almost like code. And I get the underlying message sometimes, and sometimes I don't mind it. I just don't like how it's presented. And that's the same with a lot of media on the internet. Yeah, the underlying message is what you gotta look for. You gotta read between the lines. And sometimes the message isn't a nice one. With me, I try to be as direct and obvious as possible when I talk about what I believe in. Yeah, I have some far out ideas. Some people may not have thought of them before. Some people may have gotten ideas from what I have to say. But I'm not a total fool. And I think my opinion should count for something, as do I believe everybody's opinion should count for something. A lot of people don't get what they believe acknowledged unless they're kind of going with the wave. They're going with the flow of whatever the internet, YouTube channel, or media propaganda is saying. So it's not really your opinion. You're just going with the flow of what the pre-established opinion is. I don't expect people to agree with me. In fact, I would prefer if a lot of people didn't agree with me. I like arguing with people online. I don't like arguing with people in real life because it tends to get a little bit unpleasant. At least on the internet, it's almost indirect. Like a message from somebody on Facebook or YouTube isn't gonna bother me too much. It seems less offensive. It doesn't matter what they say. Although I've heard some pretty nasty things from certain people. You push hard enough and you will run into creeps. Yeah, these Freemasons, they have capabilities that we don't know, and they're not going to tell us exactly what they are or who they are because they operate in secret. They're like shadows in the walls, and they're almost like that character Bengi from Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. They creep around in the shadows and they'll stab you in the back if you're not careful. Actually, we have a game at work. We call it VC training, and that's sneaking up behind somebody and scaring them. Like just right when, like earlier today, I was just washing some floors, and I was, I was thinking about Freemasons and making this video. And my friend comes up right behind me and he goes, "Ruff!" really loud. And I was just like, "Ooh." It was funny. He got me. If he had been Viet Cong, he would have got me with a bayonet, no doubt about it. So it's worth practicing. Master your ninja skills. Anyway, I'm kind of getting off topic here. Yeah, Freemasons. They are real. You have to take into consideration the modern adaptation of them. A good movie to watch is From Hell with Johnny Depp and Ian Holm in it. It's got some other people in it too, like Heather Graham. It was either made in 99 or 2000 or 2001. I think it was made in 99 actually. Not that really matters. It's easy enough to find. Totally worth watching, and it shows these secret societies and things like that, and it casts them in a light that makes them look kind of evil, which is what they are. Now, some people think when you talk about Freemasons, you're talking about satanic ritual, big bonfires, sacrificing goats, and things like that. To me, that's not modern day Freemasonry. That's probably throwback kind of stuff. Like maybe maybe George Washington went to some sort of festival like that, some sort of Freemason occult ceremony like that. And maybe George W. Bush went to one because he was a member of Skull and Bones, for, jokes, for kicks. They certainly don't truly swear to that kind of belief in satanic powers. Yeah, it's important to know one thing. You won't see these people in the streets, but they'll be there, out of uniform, and they'll be watching you. Most people are ignorant to this. They're preoccupied with their normal everyday lives. Their girlfriend issues, their money issues, their work life, how sports teams are doing, their particular hobbies, whatever that be, whether it's renovating their houses, fixing their car, you name it. They get distracted with things that in the long run aren't really that important. They're superficial. Because all these things can be taken away with the stroke of a pen of a powerful Freemason. And this all can be done right behind your back, right under your nose, at the same time, and you won't know about it until it's too late. I don't want to say people wake up, because that's a stupid anonymous thing to say. That's Lawrence Fishburne from The Matrix kind of thing to say, and it's annoying. It's an annoying cliche, and I dislike using that term. There's a lot of terms and buzzwords that they use that I don't like, and so I gingerly try to use these words. Okay, so yeah, don't swear to them or anything like that. Freemasons, yeah, getting back to them. Have to keep getting back to them. They are people with money usually, power, connections. They see the world in a different sort of spectrum than a normal person does. A normal person has a limited brain capacity, a limited intelligence. They're unable to broaden their horizon because the available knowledge is unavailable, or it's written or spoken cryptically so that people cannot understand exactly what it is. They get the wrong idea in their head and they get confused. It's quite easy to happen. And I'm not saying the Freemasons are particularly intelligent people. They've just gotten all this information of subtleties and Jedi mind tricks and all that sort of stuff, and they've gathered it up over the years, and they know how people react. They know they treat us like we're animals. They know exactly what to say and how to behave in front of us. That's why certain celebrities are rarely seen in public, and if you do see them, that's when you know things have got serious. Now, there are other celebrities or famous people who aren't nearly as powerful, and you might run into them, and it's just completely normal. They just want to live a normal life. But there are certain celebrities that are so powerful, they've made so many enemies and things like that, that they never show their faces in public. They can't. So how they move around and actually have a life, I don't know. They must just get into these super elite clubs. They must travel only by limousine by someone else driving it. I know Jay Leno doesn't do that, but he probably has his own area he frequents, and most of the people know him there and to leave him alone. But there's a lot of things that are impossible to understand unless you're there. Even if you're just the butler. A lot of people would really like to have that opportunity to be a butler to even Trevor Linden. I have one friend who worked at Science World who ran into him. I think he ran into him at a hospital, actually. He's like, I am not worthy, I am not worthy. And he laughed it off. Which is a funny story. I believe him. I don't see why he would lie about it. I mean, Trevor Linden quite often goes to hospitals. Or, I don't know. Canucks go to hospitals. They go to children's hospitals. Which is, quite the nice thing for them to do. Yeah. There are different levels, different echelons of Freemasonry. And some people are so powerful, so high up there, that you don't know their names, you don't know what they look like, and you don't know what they can do. And some people think it's the pictures of those two Mr. Burns looking like types, the Rothschilds on Facebook. They're not the real Rothschilds. They're poster boys. And if they are the real Rothschilds, they've degenerated into lesser powers and greater, newer forces have taken the secrecy, and they're not the puppet, the front face for it. They still know that to obtain true power, you have to remain in secret. Yeah, that's the same with Kevin O'Leary. He's a billionaire, I believe it. I did hear a funny story that he lost $500 million somehow through business deals and things like that. Probably about a year or two ago. I don't remember when. But seeing as he wants to take away unions and he doesn't like this, doesn't like that, maybe he's joking, maybe he's not. Probably not. So I don't feel particularly bad for him. Well, not at all, actually, if you want to know the truth. But even him, he's just a poster boy billionaire. He was chosen out of a lot of billionaires. I don't mean a lot as in a lot of them. I mean like just a group of them. A section of billionaires who said, we need a frontsy to do the talking for us. Now, these people, it's amazing the mechanisms of control, the ability to use the force. And the force is real too. It's a caricature of a real thing. And the more money you make, the more power you have, the more people teach you the basic tricks of how to use your knowledge that you've obtained through the easy way by just being plain dumb lucky most of the time, happening to fall in the right crowd. Maybe you had a bit of money to start with and it all worked out for you. Now, being powerful has its drawbacks too. You make enemies fast. That's just the nature of it. People get serious about you, and especially your sponsors. I would like to be sponsored someday. I don't want to be sponsored by assholes, obviously. I want to be sponsored by, people who actually care about my interests, believe the same sort of things I do, and don't have plans to be mean to me in any way. Because sometimes you get sponsored by the wrong people. Sometimes they expect things from you that you don't want to do. Think of an example when that happened. Britney Spears. She went and got pregnant. This is years ago. And that really pissed off some of her sponsors. Like, they did not want that at all. They wanted her to keep making money, keep making music and things for them. And they didn't really care about her. They just cared about her money. So they made life hard for her. But I mean, she had her resources, so she was able to get around it. But she went a little crazy and shaved her head. That happens a lot to celebrities, actually, where they get overwhelmed around the world. Like, what's his name? Corey Monteith. He was on Glee. That's a young adults television show. That's a children's TV show. And he died of heroin. A dirty, disgusting thing. Don't tell me, how does that make sense that someone who's a potential heroin junkie, or was a heroin junkie, is on a show like that? Something sick and twisted here. Something it doesn't make any sense. And then there's Macaulay Culkin, child actor, was in a reasonably funny movie, Home Alone. I think they stopped liking him because he had acne problems when he was a teenager or something. And now he looks like a real, drugged out weirdo, which is too bad because, he was a nice looking kid, man, and that shouldn't happen. Shouldn't happen to child stars. It really shouldn't. But greed, power, money, and the sleazeballs that don't care about human life, or they have such a low regard for people's misfortunes because they look at the misfortunes of others that are far worse and go, well, it ain't so bad, you got this and that, blah blah blah, you shouldn't feel bad. Not that I'm entirely feeling bad for celebrities or anything like that, but I'm saying life's not as easy for them as you may think. They get perks, of course, which I would like to get, but I want to be more savvy in my business exchanges. Yeah, and this all revolves around the Freemasonry thing. I know I'm talking in a circular kind of way. I'm going over these ideas in my head. I'm not finding the correct sources on the internet. I'm not looking very hard because I know I'm not going to find them. I'm just going to find things that are going to either distract me or confuse me, or both. And that's what most people find when they go on the internet. They don't find what they're looking for. Doesn't matter what they type in or anything. They will get an answer to a question they didn't ask, and the question they did ask is going to be switched to a different topic. Now, I really do respect those YouTube personalities who try to tell the truth. They try to play by the rules because they know the second they don't, then they're gone. They may not like the rules. They may make it obvious they don't like the rules, but they play by them. Me, I haven't been playing by the rules so far, and unless someone convinces me otherwise, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing until someone notices me. And that's what you have to do if you want to be successful. Just be persistent. Don't stop. Don't give up. Because if you give up, then all your efforts are for nothing. And these Freemasons, they're always looking for someone new to kick to the ground. Anyway, I'm going to do more segments on Freemasonry, modern day Freemasonry, in future videos. See how that turns out. When God closes a door, sometimes He opens a window. So, find out if that happens for me. Anyway, talk to you guys later. See ya.